Thanks for joining us for another episode of 5 Games 5 Minutes from acornelectron.co.uk. Electron Invaders is David Elliott's frantic variant of Space Invaders. You have to blast away all the rows of descending invaders and avoid their rain of bullets by hiding underneath the bunkers at the bottom of the screen. You can experiment with venturing outside the bunkers to fire, or by drilling narrow columns through the bunkers with your own bullets. A mothership also occasionally drifts over the formation, which can be taken out for big points. Now often these type of clones can feel a bit unchallenging and repetitive. However, Electron Invaders is neither, mostly thanks to the inclusion of a different style of falling bullet. Most invaders drop a standard zigzaggy line, but some drop a U-shape. The U-bomb falls only a short way before dividing at 45-degree angles. This addition elevates this game from super fun to super addictive. You need every ounce of your concentration to avoid these two different styles of bullet, and you need to wipe out the invaders, of course. When you do, it's immensely satisfying. Reversi is the board game brought to the Electron, and it exists in a few versions. This one is the superior software version by Dylan Thompson, which is played in Mode 5. The game's relatively unpolished. It has a text-based opening screen. But the computer is quick thinking, and you don't have to wait long at all for it to make its move. That is, assuming you play against the computer, of course. You can play against the computer, or a friend, or watch the computer play itself. The idea is to capture all of the discs of the opposite colour between the disc that you lay and an existing disc of the same colour on the board. It's a tricky game to master, and it often calls for some long-term strategic thinking. Getting discs in the four corners is usually a good move, and when the computer manages that, you get a message saying ho ho. Win or lose, you have the opportunity to then watch the game in replay to work out what you either did right or wrong. Okay, it's not groundbreaking stuff, but it's fast and it's bug-free, and if you're a beginner to Reversi, then you're probably going to enjoy playing it. Strip Poker 2 was one of the last games released for the Electron, and it features digitised pictures of two of the page 3 girls from the Sun newspaper, with a mediocre version of poker. Now, don't get me wrong, would I rather play a game of poker where there's no chance of my opponent getting a kit off? No way. But do I think Anko could have done better? Absolutely. Firstly, the whole thing is written in BASIC, which means the cards are plotted on screen rather slowly, and you have to use the cursor keys to move around. Now, I suppose the screen grabs of the girls are the unique selling point, because God knows you surely wouldn't shell out a tenner for a basic game of poker. The trouble is that the screen grabs are of awful quality. On top of that, the girls sort of talk to you in a really clunky manner. Lines like, "I'll offer my top," are supposed to get you hot under the collar, I suppose, but instead they just make you feel embarrassed. Ho bloody hum. I don't know if there was ever a market for this type of game. It's the only one of its type out there. More incredibly though, at one point Strip Poker 2 was the most downloaded Electron game on the Stairway to Hell website. You've got to despair of people really sometimes, haven't you? Robo is the third of the Repton Infinity games. You play a robot in what the instructions call a time-space puzzle vortex. No falling rocks and diamonds here. Robo is much less intuitive to play. Keep the instructions handy because there are lots of obscure objects to find, and they are used in chaining puzzles that fair boggle the mind. The main quest is to find orbs, but that's where the simplicity ends. As one example, you can find a cola machine. Press return next to this and it emits a can of cola. The can needs to be placed in a fridge. As another example, you can find a toilet, which you need to place a disc above and then press return to flush away. Do this and, for some mystifying reason, it'll produce a fish. These are only two of the baffling puzzles. You'll also find intimidating looking pipes scattered around, which propel objects around the maze. If it's an orb that they're propelling, then just walk between the pipes and you'll grab it. Anything else, and walking in might not be such a good idea. Anyway, all told, this game is rock hard, and you'll need a lot of perseverance to make it through even a single level. Sarakoi by Dean Lester is a little-known audiogenic shoot-'em-up game. Its protagonist is the most unfortunate-looking phallic spacecraft ever to grace the Electron, and the action is rather like a cross between Centipede and Space Invaders, but with little finesse. Firstly, each level is over almost as quickly as it starts. the snake-like aliens come racing down the screen at 100 miles an hour, and you have to frantically try to get underneath them and take them out before they get to the bottom. This is easier said than done, because you have to hit them dead centre to kill them. It's so fast that you seem to get further by just holding down the fire key and hoping for the best, than actually by using real skill. Secondly, if an alien does make it to the bottom of the screen, it turns into a sort of avenging angel, which becomes a centipede thing in its own right. Except this one never moves out of the area, and it's even harder to shoot dead centre than before. Plaguing all the aliens, though, is a rough movement routine. You move smoothly, but they jerk around, making the game feel as if the odds are stacked well and truly against you. Not recommended.